I started. I mean, motorcycles. That was kind of my thing, motorcycles, and I started when I was probably 8 on mini bikes back then, and
Right.
worked my way up to.
Now, did you ride like dirt bikes competitively or anything like that? Motocross or?
I did some
trials?
motocross for a while.
Okay.
And back then the bikes weren't anywhere near what they are now, the suspensions and
Right.
whatnot. But
Sure.
then as my street bikes became, I did some crazy stuff on the street bikes, and wheel stands, and scraping the back fender, all that crazy. And then somebody said to me one evening over a couple of beers, if we build you a ramp, will you jump over a couple cars? And I'm like, why not?
Some of the best things start over a couple of beers. Eh?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's hilarious. So yeah, you jumped a car.
Yeah, we did. Next thing I know, and I had at the time a 650 BSA
Stock?
stock, and so he calls me. He goes, "Well, we got the ramp built," and I'm like, "Okay." And I think it was two small cars, and we didn't have a landing ramp then. And sure enough, we had a long driveway in this guy's house, and we set the ramp up and over we went, no problem, unscathed. The bike held together.
Really?
Yeah. And
So it's a straight hard land to the ground.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even entertain it today. I mean, my body wouldn't take it anyways. But yeah, I landed it okay. I must have landed it proper. I don't even remember that. It was just kind of a blur that night. Yeah, and then it just kind of went from there to 2 cars, 5 cars, 10 cars, 15 cars, and it was just,
Oh, wow.
next thing you know, you're traveling around Canada.
And Hurricane McLean was born.
Yes, it was.
Huh? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so as you progressed doing the jumping, how did the bike progress?
Well, I kept it. Believe it or not, that 650 BSA was a it lasted. It lasted until I did. We dragged it all over the country. I did a jump in Barrie Raceway, Barrie Speedway, and we did some small practice stuff during the day, and then the night of the jump, you do my speed laps and whatever, and I just gave it too much. And as I went up over the cars, I realized that the landing ramp is back there, and I just flopped it on the thing, and I went into we had hay bales at one of the corners of the thing.
Yeah.
And I went into the hay bales, and they all exploded up. The bike got wrecked. It was ruined. So that was the headline in the paper was Hurricane McLean almost killed, and the fans loved it.
Yeah.
So that was
Unfortunately, the fans love that stuff.
yeah. Some of them come for the ride, and some of them come to see you crash.
Wow. That's awesome. So it might have been worth losing the bike.
Yeah, it was time.
The reputation.
It's all about that. Yeah.
It's entertainment.
Yeah. No, it was time for that bike, anyways. I mean, it was either going to hurt me real bad, and then I went to Harley for a year, and then
Now, what Harley were you?
it wasn't the good one. It was the 250 Harley, believe it or not. It
Oh,
was
okay. Oh, I remember those. Would they call it a Baja or something?
something. I forget the name of it. Fred Dealey Imports was the Harley Davidson importer of
As they still are.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Dealey's the only people in Canada that can import Harleys.
Well, they were sponsoring me, and the XR 750 was just something Keneal used, but it was
Yeah.
it was big, and it was like the BSA. It was just a
Yeah.
So I did that for a year, and then Yamaha started sponsoring me, and then I had a 400YZ. I had a couple of those, and then I had a 500 Thumper when they came out. I saw the 500 Thumper. I was CBS Wildwater Sports was doing a jump off in Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I represented Canada, and there was guys from all over the U.S. And 3 of the guys I had a 400YZ, and 3 of the other guys had the TTs, the Thumper. And I'm like, wow, these things are wicked.
Now, that's a dirt bike.
That's a dirt bike, full-on dirt bike, but it was a 4-stroke. I think that's why they call it a Thumper. So I used to go to Yamaha and pick up a couple of those, still in the crate every year, and that was kind of fun. It was just like have a backup and have the other
Yeah,
one.
that's wild.
Yeah, no, that was very cool. Yeah.
So now, did you ever sustain any injuries on this? 'Cause
Uh,
it's usually the first question people ask.
Yeah, I mean, broken wrist, pin in my ankle, collarbone.
Yeah.
It's the smaller bone, the tibula or whatever it is that runs down the leg. those kind of things. And at the time, they didn't seem like much, but now that I'm 110 years old, it really,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what? That's not caring about that kind of stuff when you're young is kind of what creates the career, really.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Once you start letting fear knock on the door, the brakes come on everything.
Yeah.
You try to do everything that you're doing with every bit of caution as possible. When you jump on a motorcycle, you can only, take so much into account, but, you try to do all of that. And then once you start second guessing, it's time to step away.
Totally.
Well, I think that's anything in this business as a stunt guy.
I think you're exactly right, Randy.
But the difference is that some people second guess their first tryout, and then there's just guys that really don't give a flying fuck until, maybe 20 years down the line or something.
Yeah, exactly. No,
That's what makes the man. So
Yeah, no, I think so. I think you're exactly right. It's when you look back, when you say to somebody, you're as you're heading down to that takeoff ramp, and you're watching your speedo, and you've got a red and a green area marked off, and if you've got it in between those numbers, you're pretty much going to land somewhere on the landing ramp. But when you're doing 75 or 76 or whatever you are in that speedometer, you're like, nowadays, for me to look back and go, man, that's nuts.
But also
Yeah.
a lot of it's the feel. Like you have so much experience riding down towards that takeoff ramp, you're not looking at the speedometer anymore, I imagine, because you are, but at some point you've got to take your eyes off it. And same with driving. How fast were you going? I'm not really sure. I wasn't looking. It's all feel, right?
It is. You got to be in. You got to be in fifth gear, and the sound of the RPM.
Exactly.
totally.
And then about just at some point before the takeoff ramp, you take a quick glance down, and you know that the needle's sort of somewhere in there. But the feel is what it is. What you want to do is not come short. I've seen guys come short and pretty much a death sentence. You hit that the last car or two, or you catch the end of that safety ramp, and it'll just flip you like a rag doll, and you're lucky to come out of that one.
But now.